It's the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. This round of Superbikes at Barber. It's the 10th anniversary. From Birmingham, Alabama, we're at Barber Motorsports Park for our second round of 9 for 2024. Setting the stage for Junior Cup, round 2, race number 2. And these athletes are ready to get after it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast. I'm Greg White, staying alongside two-time national champ Jason Pridmore. Now, Jason, we had a good race on our hands yesterday.
We had a great race yesterday, but the guy that won it, Logan Cunnison, saw stuff that you and I are always talking about, Greg, and that is the fact that everybody was messing around. He saw a spot to get going and pulled away. At the beginning, though, it was our defending champ, Avery Dreyer. As you can see, Eli Block had a big moment cutting across the grass. Avery Dreyer started to slip back a little bit. We would find out later, but it was a linkage issue. He did get back out and get going. Yandel Medina and Levy Batty were then at the front, but it was Logan Cunnison who ended up taking the lead, pulling away, and acknowledging the fact that the guys behind were messing around too much. We had an incident late in the race that would bring out the red flag, Greg, and Logan Cunnison would win his first race ever here at MotoAmerica.
A team pumped, and of course, what a big win for him. Well, how about our championship points leader, Yandel Medina? He's done first, second, and third in the results. So if he gets on the podium again, it's going to be his first double.
We still have just a little bit of time before this grid is going to leave. I'm looking down at the wall right now. It says 1 minute and 20 seconds, Roger. Second race of the weekend for these young competitors. A lot of lessons were learned yesterday. That was one of the things that Logan Cunnison did say. He was watching the competition. How worried should they be about that?
Well, I think today they'll probably not try to do that, go back and forth so much, especially when Logan's in the lead, because he has proved in practice and qualifying he can do those lap times without the draft. So if he's in the lead, the guys behind him better not start going back and forth too much and slowing them lap times down, or he'll do what he did yesterday.
Couple of riders that did not finish the race yesterday: Marquez Williams, Trenton Kesey, Carson King, and Juliana Fernandez. They have another opportunity to get out there today. How do you put it behind you?
Just move on, and that's all you can do. And that's the great thing about having 2 races a weekend, is if the first day doesn't go right, you get the second day to go out, figure out if you crashed or whatever happened. You know, think about what you did. Try not to make that mistakes again today, and try to end the weekend on a solid note.
Considering the age of some of these riders that are out there, they're all so young. The lessons that they're learning right now, how much improvements, or how many improvements are they able to make just from one day to the next?
We're going to find out whenever this race starts, and I think they'll go back and watch that race. As you can see how tight the points are. Ryan Wolf there, Yandel Medina leading the points, but only by 8 over Ryan Wolf. Matthew Chapin there, 17 behind, and Logan Cunnison with his pace this weekend. If he wins again today, he could really close that gap up. As we see someone down.
And we've already had an issue as all of the bikes left for the warm-up lap. See the corner workers still trying to get him out of the way. They're going to get that bike moved. Take a look here, Roger, at this replay.
Oh, just didn't really see the beginning, but it kind of looked like he got into the back of somebody going down into turn 1 off that start. So not really sure exactly what happened. That was a hard crash. Glad to see him get up and be able to walk that off.
It's Jonathan Hollingsworth, bike number 42. Here's another shot at it.
Yeah, just kind of 2 lines came together, almost like a race.
MotoAmerica Junior Cup coverage is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Let's take a look at our starting grid for Junior Cup round 2, race number 2. Logan Cunnison on the pole at a 137.417.
With Dreyer Medina right alongside of him, then we have Levy Batty trying to improve on that second place from yesterday with Woodworth and Ryan Wolf lining up outside row number 2. Back to row number 3, Greg, we got Eli Block, Fernandez, Jaden Fernandez, Matthew Chapin, Kesey, Ella Dreyer, and Carson King. Then we have Solly Mervis, Juliana Fernandez, Landon Smith, Ryan Barber, JT Rivera, and Hollingsworth. Y Black, James Williams, Gendron, and Rothenberger are going to round out your field. So yeah, we're going to see what happens in this race, Greg. Obviously, we had somebody go down on the warm-up lap, and we're trying to figure out who that is. Number 24, Landon Smith. Nope, Landon Smith just parked his bike, but we did have somebody go down in turn 1 on the warm-up lap, so we'll try to see if we can get a number on who that might have been. We got a couple, three people missing, don't we, Gita, up there? So we'll see.
11 laps scheduled for Junior Cup race number 2. Revs are up. Here we go. Down into turn number 1. Could it be Cunnison? No, it's going to be the number 1 of Avery Dreyer, who leads us into turn number 2. So a good start for the Bad Boys Racing rider, Avery Dreyer. Right behind him, it looks like it's the 58 of Cunnison on that Speed Demon Racing Ninja 400.
Cunnison's doing what he wanted to do here, Greg. He's got up alongside Dreyer, and he's going to try to lead them down, but look at this pass.
Woodworth.
Yeah, Woodworth does a tremendous job getting by both guys going down into turn 5. And look at this, Greg. We're going to have 3 or 4 wide coming out of turn 5 and heading down towards this tricky section of the racetrack, down towards Museum Corner.
BPM team for Woodworth, who, by the way, Jay, of our top 7 in points coming into this, 5th place in points is Woodworth, and he's the only one in the top 7 who has yet to stand on the podium this season. So looking for a podium, and of course looking for a race win is the 27. Early days though, as riders trying to find their way around the racetrack. I saw quite a few people there turning in early. Yandel Medina, your championship points leader, sitting back there in 5th place. 8 points between him and Ryan Wolf, who's right on his tail section, the 66.
I'll tell you right now, Logan Cunnison, when he went down into turn 5, he was trying to take the lead and try to do the disappearing act like he did yesterday so well. But these 2 guys at the front are going to be a little bit more difficult to do that with, especially Dreyer, who we know is the defending champion here. Cunnison gets a good run coming onto the front straightaway. I don't think he's going to be able to make that pass as they head down into turn 1. Yandel Medina trying to make a bid for 4th. He'll make that stick as Medina jumps up there into 4th. So all the major players, you see a good look there at Ryan Wolf just in front of him. It looked like Eli Block was there as well.
14 to 25 years old, the age limit for the Junior Cup category. Although we have a slew of Kawasaki Ninja 400s in this class, there are a lot more bikes available to race in as we have an incident. Yep. Looks like the 25 of Mervis
and maybe Fernandez, maybe Juliana Fernandez there. So they're both down, they're both up. So let's see, let's have a look here. Juliana's there. She gets a little bit out of shape right in front of Solly. Yep, that's just got a little bit out of shape. Solly tried to stand the bike up and get it slowed down and wasn't able to do so. So
a little bit of target focus there from Solly Mervis, but see if they can doesn't look like they're going to get those bikes up and rolling.
Oh, he's got his bike running. So let's get back to the battle at the front. Greg Woodworth has opened up a small gap over Dreyer now. So we're seeing Woodworth do a little bit of what we saw Cunnison do yesterday. He's just got to keep his head down and keep on hitting those marks up in the front. Dreyer, Cunnison, Eli Block, Medina, all in this group. There's Cunnison. He's going to go up underneath Eli Block. So Cunnison's got shuffled back just a little bit here early in the race. But he makes that pass on Eli Block. Now he's going to try to go back after the 2 in front of him. As you see, Medina was the guy that we saw rolling up to 4th. Now he's going to try to go underneath Dreyer as they come down into turn 1. He's going to make that pass. So the 39 on the move. We have a 37.4 from the race leader. Dreyer goes and stuffs Medina back. And this is what allowed Cunnison to get away yesterday, didn't it?
It certainly did. Oh, and we're hearing that Ryan Wolf has crashed. Oh, boy, that is a heartbreaker for 2nd in points to number 66. There's Wolf.
Yeah, he's up and okay, which is good to see, but it's a shame, like you say, for the points, isn't it? That bike is, so that bike's been through it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and you can see Wolf just upset about what happened. So Wolf Racing Ninja 400 out of it on this one.
Oh, got somebody else.
Is that our leader? That is our leader.
Looks like our leader is down, so he was trying to make a break, Greg, and he goes down to Charlotte's Web turn 5, so we're seeing a lot of early carnage here in our 2nd Junior Cup race of the weekend. He's going to get up and start going again.
So now all of a sudden like that, it's Medina who leads, but then it looks like the 58 of Cunnison wants to make a bid for that lead. So Medina, your championship points leader, looked like he had a lot of work to do to track down 1st place, but it got handed to him. And now all of a sudden we have this battle going on, like 7 riders in the mix.
can see where that's where Ryan Wolf crashed going into that left-hander. So I'm sure there were some yellow flags there. As Cunnison now looks down the inside through this big long right. What do we got, Greg? 6, 7, 8, 9 guys in that lead group. Oh, yeah, look at that move by Levy Batty. He goes by 2 of them.
Right
goes by Dreyer and Cunnison.
Like that move up the inside. Left part of your screen is going to be the leader crashing out of the race.
Yeah, just the typical kind of low side there. Lost the front getting in. That lead group was trying to do their best to catch back up. And, yeah, he just lost the front there.
So Yandel Medina having a good run at it, but it looks like Levy Batty is going to try to go up the inside as they head down into turn number 5. So much room, but it looks like, Hannah, that the 39 is going to hold on to the lead for the moment.
And this has been a good track for Yandel Medina. Not only was it his first ever MotoAmerica race, he also got his first ever Junior Cup podium here. So really looking forward to going for the win today. I talked to him and he said he watched last year's race back and he's done a lot to change his riding style and his body position that's allowed him to go a little bit quicker. He also acknowledged the fact that he uses up a lot of tire really early on during the race, and he knows that it's going to kind of get loose toward the end of the race, but he doesn't mind it at all, so keep an eye on that.
All right, we'll definitely do that. I know that the riders on the front 2 rows were starting on fresh Dunlop slicks as they normally do in race. And Medina's going to have to figure out how to manage it. But Levy Batty, looking to better his position from yesterday, will take over the spot up front.
I mean, Trent Kesey's in this. Jaden Fernandez is in this. Greg Chapin, as we've seen him win a race, he's in this still. They're all just kind of sitting behind, letting these guys all dice it up. Cunnison had been shuffled back again to 5th. He finds himself slinging it back up the inside of Eli Block to get himself into 4th. We see another big move. That's going to be Chapin as he goes through. So everyone's just kind of trying to feel each other out as far as where we can make these moves and how we can make things stick. As Medina again goes to the front over Batty as they head down into that turn 1 area, and all the while Dreyer just really needs to get some points in this race to really kickstart his season off. I know he had a decent result there in Atlanta, obviously, but he's had a couple of DNFs or at least no point scoring finishes.
The Dreyer you're talking about is the number 1 plate of Avery Dreyer, but as the 31 goes down. Right, is that the 31?
Yeah, it's Trenton Kesey. He was right up there in that front group too, so that's going to probably be another turn 2 victim. There's a little crowd in the middle of turn 2 where the front can get a little bit light, and that's kind of what we saw. We've seen that in a couple of our races this weekend, Greg, so turn 2's claimed a couple of victims.
So Avery Dreyer is in the mix there, and just off the back when that accident kind of broke away the last 2, it was Ella Dreyer, the 22, the sister of Avery Dreyer, both on the Bad Boy Racing Ninja 400. Is Ella was right in that lead group, and you can see.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
Yeah, that's the little gap that they have. Is when the 31 fell off. So we got about 6.5 laps to go. And it looks like we're getting information that the number 1 of Dreyer passed under a waving yellow, lost position within 2 corners, so no further penalty assessed. Well, Levy Batty right now leads the way as they come onto the front straightaway. When Batty gets to the stripe, it's going to be 6 laps to go.
So that would have been at the end of the back straightaway, Greg, where we saw Wolf go down. So Dreyer's lost those positions again. So good for race direction, getting that message out, and he's back in 4th now. And like you said, Ella Dreyer, she's doing a great job right now. She's in 7th, but Jaden Fernandez just back there in 8th. But they have lost a little bit of touch, to your point, and that's all it takes. Once you lose touch on these little bikes, it's hard to make that time back up. So we'll see if Ella and Jaden can work together to try to get themselves closed back up into this group in front. You can see the 2 following bikes there, and Jaden gets in there too deep into turn 5. So now Ella's on her own. She's got to try to get back up to this group. As you see, Avery Dreyer got passed on the exit of turn 5. That was really strange. Almost like something like maybe in a gear too tall. As Cunnison goes up the inside. So is this where Cunnison now, Greg? He's made his way to the front. Is this where he tries to make his break?
He's going to try to pull the pin. The number 58 on that Speed Demon Racing Ninja 400. Head down behind the bubble. And now Avery Dreyer is going to back of the field, might fall into the clutches of his sister Ella. But Levy Batty not having any of the 58, trying to get away, goes up the inside and will take over the number 1 spot yet again.
Yeah, yesterday when Logan said on the podium, I'm half second quicker. I showed it today, I proved it today, and I'm going to try to do the same thing tomorrow. I'm sure there was a couple kids that thought, I'm not going to just let that happen again. As you can see, he's trying to go up the inside. Levy Batty was up on that podium with him yesterday, as was the guy right behind him, Medina. So they both know what he was going to try to do, and they don't want to let him get away with that. Ella's on a really good lap here. She's trying her best to get herself back into the mix of this top 6 guys. You see her back there on the 22. She's closing in, Greg. She goes a 37.2. The leader that time was a 37.6. And her brother was a 37.9, so she was 7/10 quicker than her brother Avery. So keep an eye back there. All she's got to do is just get a little bit closer.
Get a little bit draft, right?
Yes, a little bit of draft. And if these guys start mixing up a little bit here in the front, that will slow the pace down ever so slightly to help her out.
So these three, the top 3 from the podium yesterday, still trying to sort it out with 4.5 laps to go in Junior Cup race number 2 from Barber Motorsports Park here in Birmingham, Alabama.
And she's there. Let you see her. She's closed that gap. Our last lap shot showed she was a little bit further behind, and she's closed that gap down. In fact, she just ran the fastest second split of the entire race. So she's faster than all the guys in front of her at the moment. So now we're, catching them, Greg, is one thing, but
we're talking about the 22, the last rider in your picture. That's Ella Dreyer. Her brother is the number 1 plate, Avery Dreyer. And there's a good look at Ella, who's really starting to make her mark on this championship, chipping away at it in the first couple races. And Dreyer has now got herself in a position where a podium is just 5 riders up ahead.
And she probably wishes that it was anybody else other than her brother right in front of her right now, because she'd probably try to keep sorting her way through. But we have a 7-rider freight train at the front, and it looks like Cunnison has gone back to the lead there as Batty's going to try to turn it back up underneath him, and he does. Now he's going to try to get this run down the field as Avery Dreyer also goes underneath block. So Eli just back there in 5th, but Dreyer got through on him.
Four laps to go, and side by side they go down the hill here at Barber Motorsports Park. Fastest lap of the race credited to Ella Dreyer on lap number 7 at a 1:36.747. And Ella was the back rider, number 22.
Oh, she's going to try to stop her brother.
She's going to try to go up the inside of her brother.
She makes the pass.
And Hannah Ella gets it done for the moment and moves herself into 5th place.
Yesterday, her 8th place finish was a career best for her, and she said she's got some more fight in her today, despite having a sprained right thumb from an off she had on Friday. But the dynamic between brother and sister is really interesting because they're really good friends. They train together, they push each other really hard, and so I'm sure that while he's probably not very pleased with himself getting passed by his younger sister, he's also rooting for her.
Yeah, that's a pretty complicated dynamic, especially when he knows that he's losing points in the championship.
And Greg, her lap time's 4/10 quicker than the next best. 37.1 we've had from Logan Cunnison, and she did 36.7. So, yeah, going forward at the right time. Now let's see, she's got her brother right behind her as well. As you can see, these 3 battling at the front.
Whoa.
The guys that were all on the podium yesterday. Medina gets to the front of this battle now, and you see Cunnison trying to get up the inside of Batty. Wasn't able to make it.
Batty was leaning on him, and that was probably the smarter move by the 58. Cunnison not to force the issue. The stripe just up ahead. We're going to have 3 laps to go, as we have just a slight gap back to the last 2, and it's going to be Yandel Medina credited with that lap lead and leads us into turn number 2. Levy Batty's the 71. 58 is Logan Cunnison. 95 is Matthew Chapin, who didn't finish the race yesterday. Good to see Chapin back in the mix. Then Ella Dreyer, Avery Dreyer, and Eli Block.
Yeah, great to see Chapin doing what he's doing, Greg. He's been quietly just kind of moving himself forward. Ella's going to try to go down the inside of him, though, as they get down into 5, and she's going to make that pass as well. So she's up to 4th. Might struggle a little bit on the exit there with as tight as she enters, so Chapin might have a shot at drafting back past before they get down to turn 6. You can see her move all the way over to the right to try to thwart that effort, and she was able to do that. So she's got herself into 4th. Now she's got the 3 guys in front of her, like I said, that were all on the podium yesterday. So Ella's there, Chapin's right behind her, then Avery's there as well. So a lot of action still with 2.5 laps to go.
Well, you can see Ella Dreyer too. The frame, like look at her shoulder width compared to her motorcycle. She's got a good advantage if she can catch the draft to a lot of the riders in front of her. And a 2 or 3 bike draft is going to do wonders for the 21 as the 71. Levy Batty on the Carnes Performance Ninja 400 goes back to the front.
Cunnison goes through on Medina as well there, Greg.
coming to 2 laps to go after this next left-hand corner, and it looks like Avery Dreyer now making the big move up the inside on his sister. That was a ton of roll speed through that final corner section, and he gets the position side by side. The brother and sister duo go, but up front it's going to be the 58 who takes over the spot, and another lead change here in Junior Cup.
Yeah, and Avery Dreyer now has decided he's got to try to get himself up in the mix with these other 3 riders. And we saw him do a tremendous job in Twins Cup yesterday afternoon in the pouring rain. Our defending Junior Cup champion on his way forward now. He's going to try to make it. He tried to move over a little bit to make it to where his sister couldn't try to drive it underneath him, but she tries it anyways, Greg, and she drives back down the inside of her brothers. These 3 in front of them continue to battle it out. So they want to make sure that when they're making these passes, they don't create too big of a gap, because if they do, the 3 will disappear in front of them.
Medina looked like he was going to get to the corner first, but he doesn't. It's Gunnison, Medina, Levy Batty. They've been duking it out for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd as another battle between 4th, 5th, and 6th and 7th is raging on. And it's up to Ella Dreyer here with a lap and a half to go. If she's going to have a podium bid, she's got to close the gap. Whoa, it almost looked like a front wheel touched a rear wheel there for a moment of the front 3, but it didn't happen. And look at Levy Batty go.
And Eli Block has moved himself into 5th, so he's separating the Dreyer duo there for Eli, doing a really good job as well. We've seen Eli do so well in the wet weather stuff, and it's good to see him up in the front here as Avery looks like he's trying to set it up. See how tight Ella went that time? The only problem with that, it's going to kill her drive onto the front straightaway, but she was protecting from being passed there. As it looks like, Greg, we are on the white flag right now. White flag lap. It's going to get sorted out. Our top 3 guys, again, Gunnison, Levy Batty, who looks down the inside, and then Medina. Then we have Dreyer, Block, and look at Chapin has now got past Avery Dreyer as well.
So Gunnison going to have to protect the inside line in turn number 5. Lap traffic getting out of the way. Hard on the brakes. Doesn't look like the 22 has got enough real estate to make a pass, a bid for 3rd place. And the 58 holding on to the spot. Now towards the museum corner we go. With these little bikes, there's still plenty of places to pass on this final lap of Junior Cup race number 2. But Logan Gunnison, coming off of his podium speech yesterday, had a lot of confidence rolling into this race. And right now he's showing the way. He's confident that he can lead this thing and win it from the lead.
Both Bartcom bikes are in that mix, obviously, with Block and Chapin. They have, I don't know what happened to Avery, but something has happened again to Avery Dreyer. He's gone backwards. The 3 at the front are still trying to duke this out, and the 3 behind, Dreyer.
Whoa,
Wow,
Levy
what a
Batty.
pass by Batty on Yandel Medina.
Yeah, but he almost tagged the back of Gunnison, and that's created some separation.
Got to keep it tight through here. Looks like Gunnison's got this one sorted.
Ella Dreyer in 4th place, running out of real estate in her bid for the podium. But look at Levy Batty. Is he going to try to go up the inside? No, the gap was too large. Here they come onto the front straightaway, and it looks like it's going to end like that. It's going to be the 58 with the 2nd win. Levy Batty trying to make a move. Can't quite get it done. 45 hundredths of a second. The margin of victory as Gunnison nearly celebrated too early.
A little bit too early.
Whoa, that was close. But gets it done. Yandel Medina in 3rd. Eli Block ends up getting around Ella Dreyer as Eli Block goes fastest lap of his race at a 37.4, and a look at the finish, JP.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but we all as riders don't get across the line before we start to celebrate, but that was a close one there. Logan Gunnison does the double here at Barber, and throw another guy in the mix. And then Eli Block, Ella Dreyer, Matt Chapin ends up 6th. Avery Dreyer fell back on that last lap to a 39.2. And we had Jaden Fernandez, Carson King, and Ryan Barber are going to round out your top 10.
Tip of the cap to Ella Dreyer, who comes in, gets her best career finish so far in Junior Cup, but also will walk away with the fastest lap of the race, a 1:36.747. Ella Dreyer able to do that back on lap number 7. So 11 solid laps in the books for Logan Gunnison, who gets it done.
And he did it differently today, didn't he? He had to really battle for this. So, everybody stepped up their game a little bit, but this guy did a really nice job of still going to the front and doing it in a different way.
It shows a lot of racecraft. Trying to pop a wheelie on this lower horsepower bike. I don't think it's working very well. Cool down lap celebrations. It's going to be Cunnison, Batty, and Medina on the podium again. All right, we're going to step away. When we come back, we're going to talk to our race winner, Logan Cunnison, because that was 45 hundredths of a second. That was gnarly.
The first repeat winner here of the Junior Cup. We see an incident that was out on the racetrack, Roger, that finished down to 0.045 of a second.
What about Logan Cunnison? Comes in this weekend, has never won a Junior Cup race, and now he leaves today, doing the double with the 2 wins, and just played his cards perfectly. And the guys were rough with him today. They knew they did not want him to try to pull that gap, and so he had to do a different strategy toward the end of the race, put himself in the right spot there at the end. But man, that was a good race. Any of that top 7 could have won that race there as the race was winding down.
I love that shot just there as this Live Plus coverage continues here for MotoAmerica. And Logan pulled up to his team and he just put his head down on the tank, and he knew he earned it. This one he had to fight hard for.
Yeah, and also I think today he probably learned more in today's win than yesterday's, because today he had to play strategy, and a lot of these races do in Junior Cup come down to strategy and where he places himself in the last lap. And also he was patient. You know, when those guys would come by, he wasn't trying to force the issue in places where there wasn't much room.
You said anyone in the top 6 could have won this one. Let's talk about that 5th place finisher, Ella Dreyer. She made that pass around not just her brother, but her defending champion brother, Avery Dreyer.
Yeah, right down in turn 5, she was making a lot of passes in there. And actually, she lost that lead group when somebody, Trenton Kesey, crashed in front of her, and she had to pull it back by herself without her draft. So it was an awesome ride by her. Hopefully, that's going to be another name in the front for the whole year.
For Levy Batty finishing 2nd today. See if we can hear this conversation, parts of it anyway, with our Audio Technica microphones.
Logan celebrated so much his airbag went off.
Here, give me a hug.
Not the first time today that we have seen that.
Yeah, baby, yeah! Way to go, Logan!
There's such great moments to be able to listen in on. If you're a fan of motorcycle racing, you're here in the United States, you can make your way to the podium at any of our championship rounds. The paddock is open with every ticket purchased, and you can go down there, hear some of this behind-the-scenes action yourself, as well as watch this celebration. Logan almost falling over there, Roger.
I think they're just going to try to take the airbag off for him and put his leather top back on. But you can see, it kind of shows you how the airbag works. But Logan, I mean, what a great weekend he's had, qualifying on pole and being fast. Talk a lot about putting a complete weekend together, every practice qualifier and both races, and Logan's did that. And what kind of confidence do you think he has leaving here, moving on to their next race?
Yeah, being the first winner to repeat here in the Junior Cup so far this season, and doing it in 2 different fashions, as you mentioned. This one he's going to have a lot to take away, as their next race weekend is the same as Superbikes. You know, they have 12 races in total this season, and they're going to head off to Road America next.
And that race is going to come down also to another battle, and I think Logan learned a lot today, because there's a lot of really long straightaways at Road America, so it's hard to break away.
MotoAmerica Junior Cup coverage is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Well, that was an exciting race. Yes! And sometimes your crew can get overzealous, and the big tap on the back, and that deploys the airbag. That is so funny. Let's take a look at those results. And Jason, 45 hundredths of a second. Medina in 3rd place. Eli Block, Ella Dreyer, Chapin, and her brother Avery Dreyer. Let's get right down to Hannah in victory lane.
A perfect weekend for Logan Cunnison from pole position, and now back-to-back wins yesterday and today. Logan, today's victory looked a bit different than yesterday. You didn't make a break for it like you were hoping to. Tell us about your battle.
Well, I just did messed up. I kept missing gears and shifts, which I couldn't pull away from that. But it was a great battle. thanks to everyone, all my sponsors. Hopefully everyone that crashed is all right, but like this was a fun battle for the whole weekend, but like this was a great, amazing.
Looking ahead to the next race, is there anything that you can hope to do differently or better? How are you at that track?
It's just drafting. You have to be good at drafting just to get pole and like get the win.
All right, well, best of luck. Eyes on Logan Cunnison. He's going to be a name to watch this season, guys.
Yeah, without question. I mean, he definitely showed us something here at Barber Motorsports Park.
Yeah, no question, and I think he's right. You know, you go to MotoAmerica, it's a completely different kettle of fish there. Let's get back down to Hannah.
Second place today for Levy Batty, and you made some serious moves there. How do you kind of weigh that risk versus reward? How much risk you were willing to take there? It looked like everything.
I had a lot of fun. I want to tag the other podium finishers. Like it was really a hell of a race. But yeah, I mean, I take any risk, but you know, still keep it safe to be on the podium. So I tried to get with Yandel. You know, maybe try and ride away, see where his strong points are and my strong points. And yeah, so I like to thank my sponsors: Comms Performance, Jason, the General Household, Bell & Dental, KYT, Bison Track, everyone. I thank you so much.
Thanks, Levy. Guys.
Not bad for Levy Batty, who shows up to this race first time this season and is able to snag himself a 3rd and 2nd place finish. And we can't wait to see how the championship points are going to be looking. But before we do that, let's get back down to Hannah.
Podium streak continues for Yandel Medina. Yandel, take us through that race.
Well, there's no words for all the passing we did and all the drafting. Like Logan said, it's basically all draft. You have to follow somebody. If you're not in that draft, you're over. You're all the way to the back. I don't have much to say. I just want to thank all my sponsors: New York Safety Track, Heroic Racing, Carlos Group, Spears, Elisa. I love you all, and I want to give a big thanks to Arai for helping me this whole weekend.
All right, guys, that rounds out your Junior Cup podium.
All right, what an entertaining race it was for us anyway, sitting up here. But yeah, with these little bikes, the draft and pass makes a difference, even at a track like this, Jay.
Well, it started on the warm-up lap. We had some carnage on the warm-up lap, and that's kind of the way this race started to play itself out. We had a tremendous race up at the front, but we had a lot of people just tip off early, and you see Woodworth here leading the way over Dreyer, and Cudison's in there, Medina's in there, Chapin's in there, and that's when Woodworth made a small mistake. He's pulling away, made that little error. Ella Dreyer's in there, and then you see Avery here in 3rd, trying to make his way to the front. He would eventually fall back. And the battle of the front, Greg, was just the same 3 guys as we saw yesterday, except for Cudison just wasn't quite able to get away and do it the way he did it yesterday. But today, he did it in style. He was able to win this race, come across the line. He barely held off Batty, who I hope we continue to see at the races. I really like that young man. We've seen him do well in the past, so hopefully we'll get to see him at Road America as well. And Medina's just doing what he needs to do, Greg, isn't he? He's putting it on the podium every weekend, racking up those points. So for Medina, this is another solid result.
Yeah, so celebrations now for these young riders, and they are young, so they're not spraying champagne, because that wouldn't be the thing. But you get to walk away with the #1 first place trophy, and that's always satisfying. All right, so this is what I've been waiting for. The standings: Medina now 14 points over Cunnison. Chapin back down to 23. Ryan Wolf, unfortunately, with his early exit, goes 24. Eli Block in there at 35. Woodworth as well. And Levy Batty just ahead of Ella Dreyer, so we hope that Levy Batty hangs tight right here in MotoAmerica Junior Cup this season. Well, that'll do it for Hannah and Jason. I'm Greg. Thanks so much for joining us. We can't wait to see Junior Cup on track again soon.